A Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investment where returns come from new investors, not actual profit. There is no product, no value created, just money moving in circles until the circle breaks. Early investors may receive returns and spread the news, attracting new investors. However, when there are not enough investors to pay the existing ones, or too many investors try to withdraw at the same time, the scheme collapses.
Ponzi, in a legal sense, just means an illegal and prohibited scheme. The illegality of it comes from the fact that it's not registered as a scheme. The promoters are not registered, and they are not known to us as a regulator. Second, it's illegal and prohibited because these schemes have absolutely no fundamentals. There are no products, there are no services.
These funds are returning back probably to another wallet that has paid another wallet, because that's what Ponzi schemes are, right? Using the payments of later investors, you quote, to reward those that came in earlier.
Ponzi scheme was named after Charles Ponzi, who operated a famous fraudulent scheme in the United States in the 1920s.
Many people have done it before the man named Charles Ponzi, but unfortunately it stuck with him. Charles Ponzi was an Italian-American immigrant who came into the US, and he wanted to make money fast and by any means possible, and he was a fast and sweet talker. So he talked people out of $15 million between 1919 and 1920, telling them he would invest in international postage stamps and that within a 45-day period, they would earn up to 45% return on their investment.
Before the internet popularized online Ponzi platforms, Nigeria already had a history of offline dubious investment scams that relied on word of mouth, community gatherings, and paper records. These schemes usually presented themselves as investment clubs, cooperatives, or thrift contribution societies, but operated on unsustainable promises of quick returns. Notable among them are Umana, 1980s to the 1990s. It was a money-doubling scheme run by Chief Umana. It was a very popular scam in Calabar and parts of the South, which collapsed spectacularly, leaving many families bankrupt. Planwell scheme. It operated in Lagos in the 1990s and was one of the most infamous wonder banks of that time. It operated like a cooperative but promised investors double returns in a few weeks. It collapsed, leaving thousands of Lagosians losing their life savings. Nospecto Oil and Gas, early 2000s. This scheme claimed to invest in oil and gas ventures, thus collected billions from Nigerians with promises of 10 to 20% monthly returns. Eventually shut down by the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) in May 2007. The list is endless, but one thing about them is that they share common patterns and characteristics. But like all Ponzi schemes, they crashed when new money dried up.
Ponzi as a concept or as an issue is not just known to Nigeria. It's a worldwide phenomenon, and it plagues every economy. Somewhere in the US, I just mentioned to you that Charles Ponzi scammed investors as way back as 1920 of $15 million. Imagine what it will be worth today. The most recent one is Bernie Madoff. He scammed investors of over $20 billion. Somebody will say under the watch of all the regulators and all the people who were supposed to be fighting them. But Ponzi does not scream, "I am Ponzi."
From cities to villages, millions were swept into the increasing trend of Ponzi schemes. But when the wave crashed, it left only tears, debts, and broken dreams. From social media platforms to other social and religious gatherings, the promise was the same. But behind the smiles, there was silence, and behind the profits is pain. This is how a country chasing quick riches became trapped in false promises.
Sometime early this year, when I came back home, this was with Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix was the name actually. So the main goal of Phoenix was for you to deposit a certain amount in dollar, actually not in naira. Then you earn 2% of the amount every day, and you withdraw it daily. So at that point in time, I had it early, so I said, okay, let me give it a try. I was like, okay, I sold off some of my coins that I do hold. Then I funded the Phoenix. While I funded, before nightfall, it crashed. So I joined while it was crashing. So I now chatted the person that said I should join. It was like himself, he could not withdraw. Well, earlier he actually withdraw like I think $4 to $5 if I'm not mistaken. So I invested $20 at the moment. So I lost everything. Yes, I joined when it was crashing. So that was my first experience, and my second experience was with that was 2021 if I'm not mistaken. This was more like this is no longer mining again. This is a website. So they came up with a website that if you deposit 25,000, I cannot remember at that time, then they will trade for you. Then you get your return in few days time, I think 2 to 3 days time. So if you are deposited at 25 or 35k, you'll be getting around 70 to 50k, I think, times 2 of 100% of your deposit. So I said, okay, it's worth the trial. I deposited. They say we should add up for the mining to be faster. I didn't have the money for add up. If I had the money, I would have added up. So I couldn't add up. Then I later heard that it was actually a scam. They just duped a lot of people. So then I think I have a few of my family members that are falling victim. A family of my cousins, actually, their house lost quite a huge sum of amount to CBEX. That's the recent one that happened to Nigerians of recent. So talking about millions of naira here, millions of naira, not just millions of naira. They lost to CBEX. I will not lie, I was pained. I was so pained because it cost me a lot. I had to sell off assets I held for a long time for me to just grow, have more income. Then I will not say depressed, though depression is a higher word, but I was so pained. Like, if I should close my eye and I reminisce over it, it causes a huge pain in my heart, a huge burden, something that is hard to bear. That to be at that point in time, I didn't want to speak to anybody. So I just wanted to be on my own, suffer my loss, then look for the next step. But it wasn't easy at all.
And on the WhatsApp group, they had the people that posted their testimonies and the money that they got from the whole Ponzi scheme now. So I was like, okay, it looks, but I still feel like something was off. But the way the guy was persuasive, the guy looked responsible, he brought out, I was like, maybe this is legit too. And I was like, no risk, maybe no risk, no reward. So let me just go crazy and just try it now. So at that moment, when I found out about it, like, well, now let me just try. So when I put the 10,000, they were like, still like 24 hours for the money to come out. I was like, no problem. I was just waiting. I know anything. I called the guy. The guy was telling me about something Bitcoin liquidation. We were still here now. That there's one package that you want to increase. I should add more. I should add money. And the funny thing was, like, I never see it as it was fishy. I just feel maybe it was greed. And I you know what, let me add the money. Then I told my mom. I called my mom that she should send me. And she sent me, I was like extra 10k, I was 5k. When she sent it to me, then I sent it to them. After that period, that was end of, I know, like for 2 days I was it was crazy. That's how my money just went, and I learned a very hard lesson. It was not easy. I cried that day, sir. I cried.
I've seen an entire family wealth wiped out because of Ponzis. People have died, taken their own lives, committed suicide because of Ponzis, yes. People have had ailments that some of them may never recover from. A stroke, Families have been divided because there's a fight. You led me into it, you made me lose my money. People have lost their entire life savings, especially people in retirement. People have borrowed money from banks. They can't pay back. And what do you think that the banks will now have? Unperforming loans on their balance sheet. People can't pay back. There's no money. The money is vanished.
In 2016, Nigeria promised up to 30% monthly returns. Over 3 million Nigerians joined. At its peak, more than 18 billion naira was circulating on the platform until it collapsed in December of the same year. Herd mentality plays a powerful role. Many join because their friends or relatives joined. Trust is exploited to spread the scam. Today, Ponzi schemes dress up as investments in crypto, forex, agriculture, and sometimes even real estate. They use influencers, encrypted apps, and sleek branding. But when you look closer, there is no real product. It's just fake profits and sudden silence.
One way is guaranteed promise of return, right? Another way is telling you to go and recruit. They will tell you that it is when you recruit people, it is when you bring in people that you are also going to make profits. So you have to be careful that you are not being told to go and bring in people. And also, proof of reserve is one way.
AI trading bots, next gen mining. They will use all these big, with a little bit of complexity that you might not really understand what is involved. Because they want to make money. The people that are producing, or the people that are projecting this thing, they tell you that come and invest, we'll give you 50% on returns. They will promise you one big percentage that even you feel like, you even have the plans in your mind that if I do this thing in 5 months, I'll build this house, I'll buy this car. So you already have those, they work on your imagination. So they promise you high returns.
Sterling was launched in 2019 as Sterling, but gained widespread attention in 2020 and rebranded as Sterling in the late 2020. It used Instagram influencers to lure youth until it collapsed in 2021, when it was too late for the investors to withdraw their money. Eat Rich Farms, which posed as agricultural investment, was launched in July 2020, but its activities appeared to be suspicious around mid-2021 and was formally listed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, as a fraudulent investment scheme on March 12, 2025. Over 250 investors claim to have lost 20 billion naira to the Ponzi scheme. MBA Forex, which claimed CBN approval, operated and collapsed within the year 2020, leaving about 10,000 victims losing not less than 171 billion naira, making it one of the most scandalous Ponzi schemes in Nigeria. CBEX, which is the most recent one, 2024 to 2025, which went with 1.3 to 1.4 trillion naira, is regarded as Nigeria's largest single scheme scam in history. The stories are endless. Each started with dazzling promises. Each ended in heartbreak. According to the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), over 5 million Nigerians have lost roughly 300 billion naira to Ponzi schemes between 2016 and 2023. From 1999 to 2025, it is estimated that about 1.7 trillion naira was lost to Ponzi schemes in Nigeria.
For about 23 years now, the losses, money lost to Ponzi's, 2.3 trillion naira. Now, money lost is like when you pour water into sand, right? It's not water you put in a reservoir that you're going to use to irrigate. It's not. This is money lost. These monies could have been put to other productive use. to the productive sectors of the economy, but it's been lost to scammers. And most of the monies are even gone, outside of your jurisdiction. So monies that could have been used for productive enterprises in Nigeria are being diverted to non-productive use. Two, money that could be used in the local economy is being taken away from your economy and to other economies. Aside from the economic impact, there's the social problems that Ponzi's breed. You know, when these Ponzi promoters come, they encourage people to bring other people. Somebody will go and bring their entire family. I've seen an entire family wealth wiped out because of Ponzi's. People have died, taken their own lives, committed suicide because of Ponzi's, yes. People have had ailments that some of them may never recover from. A stroke. Families have been divided because there's a fight. You led me into it, you made me lose my money. People have lost their entire life savings, especially people in retirement. People have borrowed money from banks. They can't pay back. And what do you think that the banks will now have? Unperforming loans on their balance sheet. People can't pay back. There's no money. The money is vanished.
With encrypted apps and social media, today's Ponzi schemes can reach thousands in hours and vanish just as fast. Not all crypto is fraud. Real crypto businesses are built on blockchain technology with transparent products, services, and risk disclaimers. Ponzi schemes masquerade as modern investments but deliver deception wrapped in tech jargon.
I'm not saying there are business that the returns, legitimate business that the returns are not high. There are. But once you see that the return is high, you should investigate.
Cryptocurrency is actually very interesting. It's legal to use, right? So what has made it bad are that people don't like coming into it because they don't understand the technology and because bad actors have also started using it. But one thing is sure, get knowledge, right? Get knowledge. You can actually do a lot of career in blockchain technology. You can actually build your own career. For instance, I'm a blockchain forensic specialist, right? And I can help people that probably have lost funds to trace these funds on the blockchain. So to you that wants to do business, that wants to incorporate cryptocurrency as payment, or that wants to do anything you want to do, you can go ahead, but you have to seek the right knowledge. Don't just do it because you see every other person is doing it.
In the complex web of financial deception, one question lingers. What drove millions of Nigerians to invest in Ponzi schemes? While some point to limited investment opportunities, poverty, and desperation for financial security, lack of effective regulations and enforcement, among others, experts contend that it was the lack of financial literacy that proved to be the most potent enabler.
In most jurisdictions, there's always a relationship between spikes in Ponzi's with probably maybe some economic realities and, to a very large extent, greed. So Nigeria is no exception. Ponzi's in Nigeria, to someone who may be analyzing it, may be on the increase for one particular reason. Technological advancements have happened. And we all know that when you use technology, things begin to go really fast. They begin to expand. It becomes borderless.
Being human being, we are attached to a high interest in terms of where you put in your money because of the interest rate has been given to you. Then it encourages you. It makes you to agree that, it is a good deal of a business because the interest is so enticing. Then these are one of the reasons.
Relevant authorities publish warning lists, but enforcement remains the issue.
Prior to now, we did not have specific provisions in the law that governs the capital market operations, which is the Investment and Securities Act. There's a new act now, 2025. The president recently signed an act into law for us. In that act, Ponzi's are now defined, so it's called by name. They are part of the prohibited scheme. When you prohibit something, it means absolutely outlawed. So please, Nigerians, Ponzi's are outlawed. It defines it also so that if anybody has any doubt as to what would constitute a Ponzi, if you go to section 357 of that act, it is defined. The second thing the law did, which is beautiful, is that it has now prescribed what the criminal sanctions would be. If you engage in Ponzi as a promoter or as a facilitator, so please don't say you're a social media influencer. Somebody brings you an investment that you yourself have not gone to verify, and you start marketing it or promoting it to others. When it is investigated and is a Ponzi, you will go to jail for 10 years. At the minimum, that's the minimum, because the law prescribes minimum, and you can add, depending on the egregiousness of the conduct. And in addition, you will also be fined minimum of 20 million naira.
Many schemes vanish before the victims know they were scammed. How do you guard against the next Ponzi scheme?
What you need to do is to watch out for the red flags for Ponzi scheme, right? Are they asking you to recruit people, right? Are they using when they are saying that this is what they do? Where is the reserve? Where is the proof? Like, blockchain technology is very transparent. If they tell you they are having so amount or so reserve, you should be able to check it for yourself. If you cannot prove it, then you are better off staying away.
So what I can advise Nigerians is that don't be enticed by the figure that are given to you, by the interest rate is being offered. Look at sustainability of such investment.
We want to make it difficult for them to find people who would do what? Patronize. If people don't patronize, no market now. If you're a potential investor and you're knowledgeable, it is not likely that you fall prey to these scams. If you fall prey to the scams, it would not be for not knowing that it's a scam. It would be because your greed now overtook your common sense. We're using intelligence. We're even using regulatory technology to monitor, because most of them are taking this business off the traditional platforms that you know and going online to do it. So it's important we know who has a presence and what they are doing. So we are using technology to monitor the activities. We are also using ourselves as mystery shoppers. When we get intelligence, when somebody does whistleblowing, we go and check. And once we find out that, first, you don't have a registration, second, there are no fundamentals in terms of what you're doing, we would have no option than to take the action that we need to take.
The road to real wealth is slow and steady. It demands wisdom, patience, and truth. Don't let desperation rob you of tomorrow. Invest wisely. That is the only scheme that pays.